Assalamu alaikum ji. Welcome to Cricket Clinic, episode number 3. हमेशा की तरह मुदस्सिर मिर्जा, आसिफ अहमद और साइम कश्मीरी आपके साथ हाजिर हैं। इस एपिसोड में we will quickly try to review the two games that have taken place in the New Zealand Bangladesh Pakistan triangular, और उसके बाद obviously हम सबका मेन कंसर्न और मेन गोल वर्ल्ड कप ही है, so इसका रिव्यू करते हुए हम आगे बात भी करेंगे वर्ल्ड कप की, और what have these games meant for us and what additional tweaks we need to do for the World Cup. So सबसे पहले let's do a quick recap or a quick review. Overall, of course, the two games went very well. I think the last 48 hours have been great for Pakistan. तो ये दो games भी हम जीते, और फिर interestingly the Pakistan women's team also beat the Indian women's team. So इकट्ठी हमें बहुत सारी खुशियां मिली हैं. So a lot of reason to celebrate, but of course the bigger prize is the World Cup. So उसको देखते हुए मैं अपने दो गेस्ट से पूछूंगा कि what do you think are the big takeaways? आप दोनों में से कौन स्टार्ट करना चाहेगा?
मुदस्सिर।
अभी तक दो गेम हमने देखे, पाकिस्तान वर्सेस बांग्लादेश और पाकिस्तान वर्सेस न्यूजीलैंड. पहला गेम में तो it started on the same tempo के बैटिंग में प्रॉब्लम हुआ, 167 की हमने. सेम पैटर्न. उसमें अच्छी चीज ये थी कि रिजवान played really a good knock, 78 out of 50 balls, strike rate of 156. Shan chipped in well, 31 and 22 balls. Magar again, our bowling basically win the game for us. With usme Dhani and Wasim are doing much better in these conditions. Or second game mein again Pakistan ने अच्छा restrict किया न्यूजीलैंड को. The bowling was again right on the money. और batting में we can talk about के it's funny कि जब बाबर और रिजवान में से लगता है कि एक गारंटी है हमारे पास कि एक तो रन करेगा, तो बाबर played exact the mirror image of the same inning जो उसने रिजवान ने पहले मैच में खेली थी. 79 on 50 थी, strike rate भी 150 था. अच्छा गेम हुआ. They have saw some development, we can talk about it.
मैं आसिफ की तरफ जाता हूं, but I think आप दोनों के लिए, और आसिफ आप भी इस चीज के ऊपर बात कर सकते हो कि overall I think the bowlers, I think obviously the batting also clicked, but we weren't chasing something like 180 190 and we weren't setting a high target. So overall if I were to pick the two departments, I think our bowlers kind of overperformed. जो last two games हमारे इंग्लैंड के खिलाफ हुई थी जिसमें हमें काफी पिटाई हुई थी, so seems के थोड़ा सा कमबैक हुआ है. क्या आप कहोगे, स्पेशली जो भी लास्ट गेम हुई है न्यूजीलैंड की? It seemed at one stage के आराम से वो 175 तक लेके जा सकते हैं, बट जो उनकी एक्सेलरेशन आनी थी लास्ट के अंदर वो नहीं आई. एंड the death bowling by both Rauf and Wasim was phenomenal. I mean the last 3 overs के ऊपर अगर आप 15 runs दे रहे हो and 5-6 wickets गिरा रहे हो, that was amazing. So overall आप क्या कहोगे in terms of bowling? Do you think we have found sort of the answer that we were looking for in terms of finishing strong in the death overs?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the bowlers that we have, we still don't know if these are the bowlers that we will have during the World Cup. But I think we now, even in a change in venue, we now have had a good run of matches to really compare and see how things have been going. And you look for trends. And the most encouraging thing for Pakistan is the graph is going upwards in many aspects. Bowling accuracy, they're not bowling rubbish balls as much as they were. Like you said, Yorkers bowling at the death has been great. In a T20 match in New Zealand, we bowled 0 wides and 0 no balls. That is a huge deal for Pakistan. They're taking their catches. Now, granted, it's not a final, but they're taking their catches. I'll even go as far as say Babar's captaincy. Nawaz is getting bowling. He got wickets against Bangladesh. He gave up an expensive over against New Zealand, but he also got Chapman out. He got the Cat Williamson out as well. So many things have been getting on the up and up. And then again, we talk about Babar's form. I mean, look, on paper, the numbers might look the same between Rizwan's innings and Babar's innings, but the innings that Babar played today was pure class. I mean, I hate to sound crude. it was like cricket pornography. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. His timing, his elegance, his placement. He has so much time to play his strokes. He played every stroke in the book without taking risks. He's on a different level. And when he bats like this, leading up to the World Cup, everything is going in the right direction. So I think extremely encouraging.
जो उसने especially the third man में जो deliberate उसने shot खेली थी, that he plays when he is in command of his game.
Yes.
You know, otherwise it's a risky shot to play. But,
I mean, if there's one thing to criticize, it is only a very little thing, that Rizwan and Babar both don't have spikes that are deep enough. They keep slipping, which looks funny, but the thing is, you can pull a hamstring and get a serious injury. So they need to be careful about that, because we cannot let either of these two people get injured.
True. अच्छा, इसी के ऊपर बात करते हैं. I think एक और चीज जो हमने learn किया है कि and the reason England did so well against us is that they attacked us all the way through. और उनके कोई भी player ने कुछ इस तरह की इनिंग नहीं खेली कि 100, 110 की strike rate. अभी जो दो आपने games देखी हैं, उसमें अगर आप बांग्लादेश की chase देखें और फिर न्यूजीलैंड की chase देखें, दोनों के we keep talking about the power play, but I think besides the power play, जो आपके 8 to 13 का भी जो overs का जो window है, उसके अंदर दोनों गेम्स के अंदर हमें इतना अटैक नहीं किया. I mean, Williamson is a great player, but अगर आप कल के गेम में देखें, उसकी strike rate was about 100. Same with Conway. So I think that for us is a learning as well, that we need to have players like that in the middle overs who don't value their wicket that much, and they go for the runs, right? अगर कल के गेम में अगर नीशम पहले आ जाता, तो they could have scored more. I mean, you send him and in the last 2 or 3 overs, what can he do? So I think थोड़ा सा वो भी हमारे लिए आप क्या कहेंगे, learning, is that a learning for us, for our batters, in terms of utilizing the 8 to 13, 8 to 15 window as well?
Yeah, and we saw the improvement. Shadab ko number 4 pe aaya, and you know, it was a tough time. Shan, we had back-to-back wickets. Shan out ho gaya, then the way Shadab played from the ball 1. So that's the way to play T20, के confident attacking cricket. और I think वो man of the match तो बाबर को ठीक है, मगर जब the way Shadab played, तो मैच का turning point था वो.
बिल्कुल. और हम वही पहले भी बात करते रहे कि he has performed in the past. इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड के अंदर we know, I mean, number 4 के ऊपर उसकी बहुत अच्छी strike rate भी बहुत अच्छी है. And even if he gives us, 30 odd runs at close to 150 strike rate, I think he's done his job. तो इसके अलावा कुछ और आप ऐड करना चाहेंगे, or should we start talking about, other sort of areas of improvement for the World Cup? Anything that we missed?
Well, were we talking more about the batting order now or later on?
Yeah, we could talk about the batting order. So एक बात अभी जो I think मुदस्सिर ने भी वही बात की है कि शान का ऊपर, और आई थिंक हमने पिछले 2 एपिसोड्स में भी हम यही बात कर रहे थे कि शादाब का ऊपर आना. तो शादाब एंड नवाज दोनों की प्रमोशन आई थिंक इस मैच में हमने देखी, एंड पर्टिकुलरली शादाब. आई मीन, नवाज ने कुछ अग्रेसिव खेला है, बट ओवरऑल उसके नंबर्स, उसकी स्ट्राइक रेट इज क्लोज टू 100, बट शादाब इट स्ट्राइक रेट ऑफ 150. तो क्या आपका ख्याल है कि मूविंग फॉरवर्ड इज दिस द बैटिंग ऑर्डर वी शुड stick with, given that जो हमने पहले जो typical रखा है कि जी if the car comes 1 or 2 down, and then we have the other players, so उसकी जगह perhaps इसी batting order के साथ stick किया जाए. आसिफ, आप क्या कहेंगे?
I think emphatically 100% yes. I mean, so there are a couple of things to think about. Number one, they're not always going to be consistent. So today, Shadab performed, Nawaz was okay. In the Asia Cup match against India, Nawaz succeeded, Shadab wasn't great. There are going to be matches where they both do well. There are going to be matches when they both fail. But the most important message is they're showing intent. They're showing that they're being aggressive. All this time, we keep talking about middle order, middle order, middle order. Well, in this is a solution to that whole middle order problem. It's interesting because Muhammad Hafiz had a quote today saying that, promoting Shadab and Nawaz will give short-term success, but put more pressure and doubts in the middle order batsmen. Now, my question is, who cares? Honestly, if this is showing the intent, if we're getting good results with this, then any batsman who is not concerned about the welfare of Pakistan and thinks about their own statistics ahead of time shouldn't be in the team anyways. I think it's a very important point. I think that what we are doing. See, when you talk about the openers of Rizwan and Babar, one of the things, the criticisms has been that they don't raise the ceiling, but they raise the floor, you know?
Right.
So one of the things with this is if it works, you raise our ceiling in a big way. And if it doesn't work, you have these other guys in the back who can, you know, still stabilize. So you're raising our ceiling without lowering our floor. That's a very, very important point, and it's a compromise that I'll take any day. I think this is what they should go with. I think we struck on something that's gold here, and we need to stick with it for the rest of the tournament.
सबसे
इसमें
एक बात देखी मैंने, वो इजाज अहमद कहीं खड़े हुए थे अंडर 19 के बच्चों को वो कर रहा था ट्रेन, तो अभी आ रहा था हर जगह कि उसने इंडिया के खिलाफ जो लाहौर में जो इनिंग खेली थी, he was sent opener और he smashed it. तो he's right. उसने पता है क्या है, उसने कहा है कि जो ओपनर हर कोई नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि नई बॉल होती है, मगर उसने बिल्कुल उसको कह रहा है कि anybody can play on any number. ये कह रहा है सब जो फॉर्मेट है ना, जो बैट्समैन है he can play on any number on any condition. I think he's right. ये जो शॉर्टर फॉर्मेट है जिस तरह 10 ओवर क्रिकेट होती है, टेप बॉल में जिस तरह होती है, it doesn't matter यार, कोई चौथे पे आए तीसरे पे आए, as long people are performing. ओपनिंग में पावर प्ले की वजह से इट्स अ स्पेशलाइज्ड एरिया, मगर आई थिंक अगर आप बाकी टीमों को देखो, साउथ अफ्रीका हो गया या इवन इंडिया हो गया, इंडिया में भी बल्कि कंट्रोवर्सी चल रही है कि ये रोहित, विराट और ये केएल राहुल, बहुत से लोग कहते हैं गंभीर टाइप के ये तीनों को नहीं, मतलब रोहित विराट को निकालो या केएल राहुल स्लो खेल रहा है. तो आई थिंक T20 इज नॉट अ गेम टू ओवरथिंक. हमारे पास वी हैव इनफ एंकर इन बाबर और रिजवान, बाकी जितने लोग हैं वी जस्ट नीड गुड 20-30 रन्स, और वो भी हमें नहीं मिल रहे थे, इसलिए हम फंसे एशिया कप में.
अच्छा, इसका चलें, लेट मी, बिकॉज हम काफी चीजों में एग्री भी करते हैं, मैं थोड़ा सा एक डेविल्स एडवोकेट बनता हूँ. इसमें एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये भी है कि अगर तो चलें, आप समझ आती है अगर आप चेज कर रहे हैं and you know you're chasing 180, 190, 200, then you know sending someone like Nawaz or Shadab up the order makes a lot of sense because आपके पास कोई time ही नहीं है, you know, you have to attack all the way through. But what if you're chasing something like 140 odd, right, where stability perhaps becomes a bit more important than the run rate, because as long as you don't lose your wickets, you know, 8 or 9 out of 10 times you will chase those runs. उसके अंदर would you still stick with this order, or you'll keep it, you know, shifting depending on the match situation then?
I think today was proof. We were chasing 145 and it could have been a very tense chase, and after Shadab's innings the required run rate went from you know 8 to 6.93. I think regardless of the situation, I think even when you're setting a total, you know, the match against Bangladesh, we were setting a total. We didn't set as great a total as we would have liked to. In so many of these matches in England, when we were batting first, Shadab ki batting aayi nahi. So, you know, if he gets in and he gets out, you don't lose anything, because in previous matches, he wasn't even getting a chance to bat. So I think this should be the way going forward. And it will fail at times, and that's okay. You expect that. But when it works, boy, does it work for you. That match gets transformed for you.
Yeah. और उसका भी solution है, वो जो हम जो कहते हैं ना, it's going to work on ऑल कंडीशन के. अगर फखर आता है, फखर रिजवान ओपन करें, तो आपके पास बाबर है वन डाउन स्टेबिलिटी के लिए, और अगर फखर आउट भी हो जाता है तो अगर 140 रन करने हैं तो दे बोथ कैन प्ले. तो अगेन वी डोंट हैव टू ओवरथिंक. बाबर वन डाउन है, फिर यू कैन कीप ऑल्टरनेटिंग बिटवीन पावर हिटर्स एंड
राइट. बट अगेन ये बाबर का वन डाउन आना तो आई थिंक हम बात कर सकते हैं, बट आई थिंक द मैनेजमेंट बिफोर द वर्ल्ड कप, या वर्ल्ड कप के बाद ही होगी.
अगेन इतनी चीजें ट्राई हो रही हैं, तो जिद का मसला नहीं है. मेरा ख्याल है कि ट्राई करके देख सकते हैं.
चले, अभी भी हैं गेम्स, अब उसके बाद वो भी आएंगे आपके वार्म अप गेम्स. व्हाट डिड यू मेक ऑफ हैदर अली, यू नो, कमिंग डाउन? एक बात एक ये भी थी कि भी उसको क्यों आप 1 डाउन या 2 डाउन भेज रहे हैं, उसको आप वो रोल दो जो आसिफ अली का रोल है. एंड कल उसने, यू नो, इट कुड हैव बीन अ लिटिल बिट डाइसी, ऑल्दो फिर भी बन जाना था, लेकिन हो सकता था कि आखिरी ओवर तक गेम चली जाती. लेकिन जो उसने वो 2 शॉट्स खेली हैं, कमाल की शॉट्स थी, यू नो. तो क्या कहेंगे उसके ऊपर?
अगर याद हो तो हम पहले प्रोग्राम से कह रहे थे कि वो अभी बेचारा आउट ऑफ फॉर्म है, उसको वो रोटेटर नहीं है, ही इज अ बिग हिटर. तो हम 5 तो बात ये हो रही थी कि ही वाज आउट ऑफ फॉर्म, और उसको गेम भी बीच में उसे नहीं मिले थे. तो बजाय उसको नंबर 3 भेजे हैं, उसको रोटेट करनी होती है स्ट्राइक, तो 5 छठे पे क्यों ना ट्राई करें. वही अब वो कल अपने नंबर पे आया, इसने पहली बॉल पे ही हिट द बॉल आउट ऑफ द पार्क और फिर अगली बॉल पे 4, तो ही लुक्स मोर कंफर्टेबल कि बजाय वो रोटेट करे, जो लेट हिम
जो नेचुरल गेम तो हैदर अली की वही है ना, जिसमें आपने फखर जमान को अगर आप टुक टुक वाला रोल दोगे जो वो अब कर रहा है, तो वो टुक टुक नहीं कर सकता. वी नो नेचुरल गेम है कि he goes out.
I think Haider made life difficult for us because in all of these matches we've been saying that he's the odd man out, he's not performing. He just played 2 balls. Those 2 shots remind us why we all want him to be there. He has so much talent. He is possibly the most talented batsman in Pakistan. I know that's a lofty claim. Aside from Babar, with his future, they've got to nurture this, because if we can capture this and keep it and make it any kind of consistency, he will destroy opposition. So he just gave us 2 reminders of why he is still in the conversation despite all the failures he's had. It's a good problem to have.
वही चीज है ना, जैसा 92 वर्ल्ड कप में इंजमाम kept on failing, but Imran persisted with him, और फिर जो न्यूजीलैंड के अगेंस्ट उसने जो सेमीफाइनल में इनिंग खेली थी, तो वही है, if you have faith I guess, और उसने कल डेमोन्स्ट्रेट तो किया है. अच्छा, जब बैटिंग ऑर्डर की बात हो रही है तो अब देयर इज अ फीलिंग कि हो सकता है कि फखर जमान माइट गेट फिट. आई मीन ही इज इन द ट्रैवलिंग रिजर्व, और ये भी सुनने में आ रहा है कि कादिर इज नॉट फिट. सो हो सकता है कि कादिर की जगह इसको रिप्लेस कर दें फखर को, बिकॉज कादिर वैसे भी इज अनलाइकली टू मेक द टॉप 11. तो उस केस के अंदर इफ फखर कम्स इन द मिक्स एज वेल, हाउ डू यू सी द बैटिंग सॉर्ट ऑफ ऑर्डर एंड the top 11, the playing 11 come about? Would you still play Shan Masood, or does he come as a replacement for Shan?
So I've been putting a lot of thought into this. Fakhar, again, is one of my favorite batsmen, so it's very hard to be objective about this, but from try to be analytical about this, because it's going to be either Fakhar or Shan. That's what it really comes down to. So I try to think of each of their points and put points in each person's column. They're both lefties, which I think is important. You want to have the lefty-righty thing going, so it makes it difficult for the bowlers to keep their line. They're both openers. They're both batting out of position, so that kind of cancels each other out as well. From a fielding standpoint, just in general, Fakhar is a good fielder, but Shan is head and shoulders better than him. Ground fielding, catching, he is a spark on the field. The other issue with Fakhar is we see what Fakhar has done over his career. It seems like many of us who are Fakhar fans are more in love with the idea of Fakhar and what he can be rather than what we have been seeing. He was dropped for a reason. He was playing terribly. If he truly was injured, he comes back, we don't know what kind of Fakhar we will see. At the same time, the biggest criticism that we've seen of Fakhar has always been what? He's inconsistent. He has not been performing consistently. Now, we've had a good run of matches, a good sample of matches to see here. Shan has not been consistent either. Yes, he's had a few innings here and there, but then, he had a good innings against Bangladesh. He had a stinker today. It's not been consistent. And so my thing is this: if the biggest thing we are criticizing Fakhar for can be applied to Shan, then it precludes us from eliminating Fakhar for that reason. And you do the flip side of that, and you say, if both of these batsmen are at the top of their potential, Shan is doing exactly what he wants to do, batting at his top form, and Fakhar is doing exactly what he wants to do. Which one of those two would you take? And for me, Shan may be good, but Fakhar absolutely changes the outlook of matches. He forces the opposition to change their bowling, their fielding. He puts them on the back foot. He changes the game completely. For that reason, I would choose Fakhar, but at the same time, I understand if you were to choose Shan, I see the reasons behind it, and it's hard to criticize that decision.
Yeah, so I think finance term में जिस तरह कहते हैं कि upside potential है किसी stock का, तो यहाँ पे Fakhar का upside potential is definitely
So I would
higher.
say exactly, he is a high risk, high reward proposition, but I think the depth of our batting allows us the latitude to be able, the luxury to be able to make that choice.
और Fakhar को उसके नंबर पे भी नहीं खिलाया अभी तक. वो जो लोग कह भी रहे हैं कि वो नहीं चल रहा, तो नंबर 3 पे it doesn't matter to me. अब उसके नंबर पे अगर वो flop होता तब बात होती. So he's not a one down.
Shan का भी यही है ना, Shan का भी यही है. He's coming at number 3.
No, Shan नहीं, Fakhar की बात कर रहा हूँ कि Fakhar को ओपनर ही खिलाना चाहिए था ना. वन डाउन उससे रन कैसे करेगा रन? वो he's not that kind of player. खैर वो एक सेपरेट डिबेट.
अच्छा, दूसरा फिर ये कि रोल पे भी डिपेंड करता है ना कि क्या रोल देना है. क्या आपने ये कहना है कि जी रिगार्डलेस आपकी विकेट जाती है नहीं जाती है, यू प्ले योर नेचुरल गेम, हम एक एग्रेसिव इंटेंट से जा रहे हैं, तो फिर probably आपका Fakhar is more well suited to that game. I mean historically, minus the fact that he's been out of form. लेकिन अगर वो चीज़ है कि थोड़ी सी स्टेबिलिटी आपको देनी है, तो मे बी आई विल गो विद शान मसूद. तो अगेन आपका क्या, व्हाट इज योर ऑब्जेक्टिव? माय ऑब्जेक्टिव इज कि यू शुड गो फॉर एग्रेशन रादर देन स्टेबिलिटी. वही
Yes.
अपसाइड पोटेंशियल वाली बात.
And the problem is you won't know that until you're in the match situation. You have to decide that before the match starts. So how do you determine that, you know?
हाँ कि अभी क्या होगा आपको.
Huh. If both openers are out quickly, do you want aggression? Maybe not. But us waqt tak it might be too late. You may have already selected Fakhar.
और एक और मसला भी, अगर आप फखर को खिलाओगे, अगर ओपनर कराते हो फखर को, तो बाबर पीछे आता है मरना, तो शान तो वैसे ही बाहर आता है. He cannot play.
लेकिन वो नहीं करेंगे ना, World Cup के लिए तो नहीं करेंगे, unfortunately. Fakhar is going to come in number 3 if he comes in at all. I mean, I agree with you. But I'm saying, realistically speaking, Fakhar is not going to be an opener in this World Cup as much as we want him to be. I want him to be as well. But I don't see the point in talking about it because they're never going to change their minds about that until and unless we fail and crash out of the World Cup.
अच्छा, अब एक और बात ये आ जाती है कि फखर को आपने ये ट्रायंगुलर नहीं खिलाया, राइट? उससे पहले ही स्ट्रगल्ड ऑल थ्रू द एशिया कप, ऑल्दो बाबर आजम डिड वेल. बट बाबर आजम को जाहिर है आप ड्रॉप नहीं करोगे. ही इज अ वर्ल्ड क्लास प्लेयर एंड आपने देख लिया, ही जस्ट नीडेड अ फ्यू गेम्स एंड ही इज बैक इन फॉर्म. फखर को अगर आप जब करोगे तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप जो दो आपके जो वार्म अप गेम्स हैं उसमें आप ट्राई करोगे, राइट? सो उसके अंदर then what? I mean, regardless of how he does, it's too small a sample size to then make a case कि भी अब वो वापस फॉर्म में आ गया कि नहीं आ गया. So that's a little bit of a concern that I have with Fakhar.
Well, that's what I was saying, is that Fakhar is a question mark. He's a bigger question mark than Shan, because at least Shan, we know what he's doing now. Fakhar, it's a big question mark. I think they have to stick with whatever they decide. If you decide कि Fakhar को खिलाना है, even in those 2 warm-up matches, it doesn't matter what he scores. You just want him to get into practice, into match rhythm, and say we are sticking with him because of what he's done over his career. You know, okay, you get 0 against Bangladesh or Afghanistan and you drop him. You can't panic in 1 match or 2 matches. You can't be reactive.
जिस तरह आप शाहीन को भी तो आप खिलाओगे ना. शाहीन doesn't have any match practice, और वो दो games आप you are hoping कि यार उसमें अंदर थोड़ी सी rhythm उसकी build up हो जाए.
I think it's very presumptuous for all of us to sit here and say Shaheen's going to come back and be the Shaheen that we know and love. We hope so, but we don't know.
Regardless of the tweet that he sent, right? Regardless of the tweet.
Exactly. Well, I mean,
the storm before the calm, but yeah, realistically, हमने उसको भी बुमराह को भी देखा, वो वापस आया तो he got hit for 50 runs in his 4 overs. So
even Naseem, because he's coming off a viral infection, he's going to be energy depleted. He's not going to be at his top potential.
Right. अच्छा, एक और question रह गया, and then we can wrap it up. Overall bowling seems, doing well. We have kind of ticked off a number of things that we were thinking of कि यार ये चीज होनी चाहिए. Death bowling का एक concern था, वो भी अब हो गया है. One of the things we wanted to see was Naseem को थोड़ा सा और देखना चाह रहे थे, because इंग्लैंड की सीरीज के अंदर भी I think सिर्फ पहला गेम probably वो खेला, उसके बाद से he didn't play, और अभी भी he's been out. उसके बारे में what do you think, how important it is to have Naseem back and get a few sort of games under his belt? Or do you think कि वो ना भी खेले तो we would still go with him and we would still hope that he's back to the form he was in the Asia Cup? मुदस्सिर, आप लेना चाहोगे?
Naseem, yeah, he was bowling really nice with the new ball. तो मुझे जो अभी सरप्राइज किया है ना, वो मोहम्मद वसीम ने किया है with dead bowling. हमें नया बॉल तो सब शाहीन भी करता है, नसीम भी कर रहा है, अच्छा हसनैन भी कर रहा है. प्रॉब्लम आ रही है डेथ बॉलिंग में, सिर्फ रऊफ के अलावा किसी से नहीं हो रही थी ठीक. तो वसीम के अब जो उसने इतनी अच्छी बॉलिंग की है अभी विद यॉर्कर्स एंड एवरीथिंग, तो मुझे अब ये हो रहा है कि डेथ बॉलर कौन है हमारा विद रऊफ. मगर ये कि आई गेस इज अ गुड प्रॉब्लम टू हैव. वो गेम्स बहुत हैं, देयर आर इनफ गेम्स टू रोटेट. लगता है तो यही है कि रऊफ, नसीम और शाहीन अगर फिट हो तो these are the 3 top bowlers. और लग्जरी है हमारे पास, अगर शाहीन फिट नहीं है तो हसनैन या धानी. I think so far Hasnan is looking better recently, though things can change, so we have a good problem.
और शाहीन would probably be our power play का ही bowler. I hope कि उसको ज़्यादा death bowling ना दें, because I mean he's a great bowler regardless, but I think his strength is really trying to get early wickets.
Yeah.
Semi-final में जिस तरह मैथ्यू वेड ने उसको एंड में मारा था, तो उसमें I agree जो रऊफ की जो bowling है, and it's not just this last game, consistently हम देख रहे हैं the last 5-6 games.
Who needs to be over.
Yeah.
But Rauf is bowling well everywhere. Nayi ball pe nayi ball middle and
Right.
he's like a champion bowler right now.
Rauf has been one of the most improved bowlers, I would say. मुझे याद है कोई 2-3 सीजन पहले लाहौर कलंदर, as a fan of लाहौर कलंदर, I would, जब वो आता था bowling तो होता था कि चलो जी अब तो बस गई बाउंड्रीज पे बॉल गई. But I think change of pace और जो control उसने अब, it's not just raw pace anymore. आसिफ, आप कुछ ऐड करना चाहोगे?
Yeah, this is why I think more than anything I would want to see Hassan and Naseem back in, because Rauf needs to be rested. He's played 2 consecutive matches. We know what he is. He has performed well. Wrap him up in cellophane and bubble wrap and sit him on the side. Do not let him get injured. If we reach the final, let him play the final. But that's it. We need to preserve him because he is right now our best bowler. When the other 2 come back, that's fine. At the very beginning of this series, you talked about, I think Simon had mentioned, one of the purposes of this was to figure out our pecking order for the backup bowlers. And I think one of the things that I think has really become clear is Mohammad Wasim has shown he's getting his Yorkers in. Dhani has done well, but like Mudassir saying, Mohammad Wasim has really shown that he's got his Yorkers in place. He's got a slower ball. He's been effective. And I think that's something to keep on continuing doing. Let him play so that if Shaheen is not ready, if Naseem is not ready, Mohammad Wasim is ready to go. And if Hassan comes in, I don't know if he's going to fire, but if he does, then that's another one you have ready. And again, like he said, that's a good problem to have. But my number one thing, Rauf needs to be rested now. Do not let him have any opportunity to get injured. Keep him for the final and try these other guys out and see. And just, right now it's preservation. We're at a point now where if someone gets injured, they're not going to be fit for the World Cup. So we have to be super careful. Get spikes with Vaughn and Babar. Bilkul.
न्यूजीलैंड के साथ अभी वही चीज हुई है ना, तो उसके अंदर वही है कि अभी तो एट द सेम टाइम सारी बॉलिंग के अंदर हमने वो चीज नोट किया है कि नोबडी टॉक्ड अबाउट कादिर. सो अगेन मेरा पॉइंट वही आता है कि भाई जब हमें पता है कि कादिर को हमने नहीं खिलाना, शादाब इज देयर एंड शादाब इज परफॉर्मिंग, यू नॉट गोना बी हैविंग 2 लेग स्पिनर्स, व्हाई हैव हिम इन द 15 मैन स्क्वाड देन एंड जस्ट रिप्लेस हिम विद समवन लाइक फकर, जस्ट बीफ अप योर. याद है हम लोग बात कर रहे थे आज सुबह, ये ना एक प्लान बी है, उसको लेके घूम रहे हैं फ्रैक्चर्ड थंब के साथ कि ये चेंज करेंगे एंड में. 2 प्लेयर रह गए हैं जो मेरे ख्याल से इसमें होने चाहिए. वो अगेन वी डोंट हैव टाइम. इमाद वसीम और फहीम अशरफ, वो फहीम राना, क्या नाम है इसका? फहीम अशरफ राना हो गया राना. खैर फहीम अशरफ और इमाद वसीम, आई थिंक दीज 2 गॉट मिस्ड बिग पिक्चर. They could have been
yeah, go ahead. Qadir, I would say he's probably maybe the 5th best spinner on our team, because you have Nawaz, you have Shad, you have Fakhar. I would put Khushdil ahead of Qadir, honestly. In terms of not bowling bad balls and getting wickets, Qadir this is not his format. Personally, I don't, you can't have a bowler who bowls, like I've said so many times before, 1 or 2 rubbish balls per over. Tika, he gets wickets, but he's more suited to the longer form. Economy rate बहुत ज़्यादा है उसका. I mean, yes, there is a value to getting wickets, but economy rate. And why is he there? He has a broken thumb. Why is he even there? I mean, I wish him the best for future. I want Pakistan to do well, but Qadir's taking someone else's spot. So हो सकता है मिर्जा की बात में कुछ legitimacy है, because I think till the 10th of October you can make changes regardless. Regardless of injuries. 2 days. Yes, but after that you can only do so अगर कोई इंजरी होती है, फिर आपको पिटिशन करना पड़ता है. तो maybe that's the plan, which may or may not be accepted, right? Yeah, no, I mean, अगर एक genuine चीज है, वो बेचारे का वो हम हुआ है, तो वो. But they may say pre-existing injury, I don't know if it works how American health insurance works. Pre-existing injury. Oh yeah, I mean, let's see. But they can always argue कि यार हम सब सोच रहे थे कि ठीक हो जाएगा, उस वक्त तक नहीं हुआ. मेरे तो ख्याल है अभी भी टाइम है कादिर और खुशदिल को भेज दें वापस, और इमाद वसीम और फहीम अशरफ को बुला लें. चलें, ये चीजें तो लगी रहेंगी फ्यूचर में. तो बहरहाल व्यूअर्स, वी होप कि आपको हमारा एपिसोड ये वाला पसंद आया हो, और ये है कि अगेन ग्रेट स्टार्ट फॉर द पाकिस्तान टीम, एंड लेट्स होप इसी तरह कंटिन्यू करें. एंड मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली, एज वी हैव बीन डिस्कसिंग, द बिगर पिक्चर इज द वर्ल्ड कप, right? So regardless of what we do, obviously we hope Pakistan goes to the final, and I think we're almost there. I mean, 2 games जीत चुके हैं, 1 more game अगर हम जीत जाते हैं तो definitely we've qualified for the final, और फिर हम hope यही करते हैं कि जीतें भी, but bigger picture is again the World Cup, and कुछ चीजें जो हैं we are moving in the right direction as we have agreed. Yeah, most things, I think. Okay जी, thank you so much.
We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time.
Pakistan.
Zindabad. Okay, ji.
How long was that?
Okay.
He's on absolute fire.